what happened was I started reaching out to this lady that I met some years ago that she breeded poodles. But when I contacted her, she said that she didn't do it anymore. But she had a friend uh, that had a farm and that they breeded designer dogs. And I said, really? And so she gave me her website, and I went to the website, and it had all these beautiful dogs, but Patches stood out because he had one black patch, and the other was just a pink, around the sclera. And I was like, he looks kind of cute. He looked different from the rest of them. And I always been a unique person, so he looked unique. And so I went out to the farm. I made an appointment. I went out to the farm and I saw all these animals. I saw donkeys.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Big Words Authors 76. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and as I always say, I wear several hats. So today I have another special guest with me. I want to welcome Mary LaQ Simpkins, and we're going to talk about her book, Prince Patches. Before we jump in, I just wanted to say that one of the reasons I started this channel was to chronicle and capture my own author's journey. It's been an interesting journey thus far. Me and Mary, we're going to talk about some of that. But I also wanted to network with other authors and talk about their books and their journeys. And so Mary agreed to talk about her book. This is a fun book. I did read Prince Patches. And we're going to talk about Prince Patches, who he is, and why she wrote the story. So, Mary, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about this interview.
Okay. So, Mary, you are my second guest. We met at the 2025 Congressional Black Caucus Annual Legislative Conference at the Authors Literary Circle. That's a mouthful. For those unfamiliar with you, who is, in as much detail as you want to share, who is Mary LaQ Simpkins? I kind of know because I read the back of your book before when I was at work earlier, but what do you want the audience to know about who you are?
Well, first of all, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm an educator, I'm an artist, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a local actress, I'm an aspiring screenwriter, and I'm a lyricist, and I'm a writer. So I wear a lot of hats, but I would like to think that I wear them all well.
Okay.
So that's a little bit about me. I enjoy life. Um, some people say I'm a dreamer, and that's good. That's a good thing because I feel that as long as I'm on earth and I'm breathing, I can dream.
Okay.
So that's mostly about. And I like I said, I'm a mother. I have two beautiful adult college educated children. So even though they're adults, they're still my children.
You're still your children. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. What inspired you to become an author, and how did you start writing? Whichever one you want to answer first, that's fine. But what inspired you to become an author, and how did you get started writing?
Well, as a preteen, I've always liked to write, even during school. When I was like in middle school, high school, I always enjoyed writing. I like poetry. I just like words, and I think some years ago, I was listening to Maya Angelou. Um, she was on a special talk show, and I was listening to her, and I recall her saying that she likes to take words, and she said, I like to throw them against the wall. and I like to watch them bounce, bounce, bounce. And that inspired me because I like words. And I always thought I had a way with words. I wrote a couple of songs and a couple of rap songs that I performed on stage because I like words. So I think she inspired me. And I recall her saying, um, without art in your life, there's nothing to tenderize you. And that that really touched me deep within my soul. So I knew I could write. And like I said, I like to rhyme words. And as an educator, kids always tell me, you talk in rhymes. I speak in rhymes. And I'm not even aware that I'm speaking in rhymes or anything like that. However, a lot of times when maybe walking or just thinking, words come to me, ideas come to me. I like I said earlier, I am an aspiring screenwriter. So I would love to write for television. Um, Outside of just writing books, my children's books, I'm excited about it because it means a lot to me. It comes from the heart and it comes from the higher being is the way that I write. I write from my heart. Um, I know a lot of time people use AI, but I've not ever used that because I like to write from my heart and from the from what God gives me to write. Whatever He instills in me to write, that's what I write. And writing about Prince Patches, and he's my little special little sweet dog, and I like writing about him. Sometimes I just look at him, and it just gives me ideas of what to write about. And as an educator and working with young children, reading is fundamental. So I'm inspired by children when I write because I know what they like and what they don't like. And I listen to their conversations sometimes, and it just gives me ideas as to what they need, to be successful in life and to go out into society and be able to actually read. That's important. It's very important for kids and to be on reading level, on their grade level, so to speak.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if I answer both questions.
Yes. I think we'll come back to that a little bit because I think I asked something about that later on. But um,
Okay.
moving on. So we met at the Congressional Black Caucus annual legislative conferences, authors literary circle, and I purchased a copy of Prince Patches. I'm going to ask you at the end where people can get a copy um, after watching this. Is Prince Patches your first book, and what motivated you to write this particular book?
Yes, Prince Patches is my first book. What inspired me to write it was my sister had said, you should get you a little dog. And I was like, no, I don't have time for a dog. I'm too busy. I like doing things. And she said, but he'll be a lot of company, and I was like, well, maybe. So um what happened was I started reaching out to this lady that I met some years ago that she breeded poodles. But when I contacted her, she said that she didn't do it anymore. But she had a friend uh, that had a farm and that they breeded designer dogs. And I said, really? And so she gave me her website, and I went to the website, and it had all these beautiful dogs, but Patches stood out because he had one black patch, and the other was just a pink, around the sclera. And I was like, he looks kind of cute. He looked different from the rest of them. And I always been a unique person. So he looked unique. And so I went out to the farm. I made an appointment. I went out to the farm and I saw all these animals. I saw donkeys and cows and all of it because they had a huge farm. And so with that being said, I saw this little fluffy dog, and he was a Maltese Shih Tzu. I recall his mother being named Butterbean. Butterbean was the mother's name. I don't recall the father's name. But anyway, to make a long story short, I wanted Patches. That's what I named him. So I bought him, and then I brought him home. I looked at him. He was so cute. He was so cute, And I was like, God, you're so cute. But then as I think a week went by, 2 weeks went by, and I'm like, I don't have time for a dog. I'm too busy. I have too many things to do. So anyways, my daughter, she was telling me about this couple that had 2 kids that really wanted a dog for their kids. So I said, oh, okay, can you have them come over? So the father came over to meet Patches. So he said, well, I would like to try to get to know him. So I'm going to walk him outside. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Because he wanted for his little girl and little boy. So I went back in the house and I just decided to look out the window to see how things were going. And I didn't see Patches, but I saw the father. And so I go out and I'm like, where's Patches? He said, I don't know. He took off. Like, what do you mean he took off? So I went looking and calling Patches. No answer. So I go to the back door, and there was Patches at the back door waiting for me to let him in. So he had ran away from the father. So then I walked back around to the father, and he says, I don't think he want to come with me. As he says, look how he stand between your legs. He said, I never seen that before. He doesn't want to leave you. And then he told me I cannot take him. I like, oh. I said, but I'm sure he'll be fine. He says, no, I can't take him from you. So, okay. So anyway, when I go back into the house with Patches, Patches just looks at me. He just looks up at me and I look down at him. And I say, you know what, Patches? I'm going to write a book about you because you are a lot of responsibility. And that's exactly what I did. So Prince Patches talks about the responsibility of having a pet, because having a pet it's like having a child. It's like having a child because you got to, really be pretty much a pet lover, and you have to take care of your pet. You got to do this. You got to take them to the vet. You got to buy food. You got to keep them safe and warm. It's just a lot of responsibility that comes with a pet. So I got the idea to write it because I know a lot of children always begging, mommy, daddy, I want a dog, or I want a cat. So then I was like, well, this will teach them the importance of having a pet. Because first of all, mommy and daddy might not want to get up to take him outside. So if you have a pet, you got to take him outside, because what we do in the bathroom, they have to do outside. So, and then you have to take them for walks. So you really have to take up a lot of time having a pet. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. And you have to train them, just like having a baby. You have to bring up a child in the way you want them to go. So it's like with Patches, I had to, train him. And anytime you want to go out of town and you don't want to take your pet, then you have to get a pet sitter. And it can be costly, comes with territory. You get a pet sitter, you got to pay. you know. So those are the things I encounter, but it's it's been all good, and I wouldn't get rid of Patches. He's my little gem.
Okay. Um, so moving on to the next question. I think there's some overlap here. So Prince Patches is real, and
He's
he's your
real.
dog, and I think those are the stories you told me at the Congressional Black Caucus. And once again, his breed is a what? He's a what?
He's a Maltese Shih Tzu, but more of a he was breeded as a designer dog, Maltese Shih Tzu,
Okay,
but
for
more
those who
so
don't
I
know,
say Shih Tzu.
okay, that's an interesting point because a lot of people are unfamiliar with the the dog owner world. Um, what
Mm-hmm.
just briefly, what is a designer? A designer dog? What is that?
Really, technically it's like a mixed breed. The father is a Maltese, the mom is a Shih Tzu.
Okay, all right. And then the last thing I asked you about this at CBC, the book is purple. So
Yeah.
I think you were a fan of the late Prince, and that's in part how he got his name.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
all right. You have good
Yeah.
musical tastes.
Yeah. And that's where the yeah. So that's where the purple comes from. I named him Prince Patches, but I call him Patches, but his name is Prince Patches. Um, and I gave him the name Prince because of the late artist Prince. So
Okay.
most my book covers has purple somewhere.
Okay,
Mhm.
I don't want to give it all away, everyone, but there's another doggy in here named Wolf. Is Wolf an actual character as well, or an
Yes,
actual dog?
Wolf was little long hair Chihuahua. Wolf is a little long hair Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. Okay,
Very yeah. So but Prince Patches is the main character,
the main character.
and
Well,
they both real.
yes. Well, I guess I'll get to this in a little bit. They dogs have personalities. They have friends, and they have cousins, and they play, and they some of them like each other, some of them don't like each other. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was clever that you put Wolf in there as well because they do have friends. They talk to each other. They play. They fight. So that particular part of the book touched me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what I think you talked about this already, but Prince Patches is a children's book. What made you decide to write books for the children's demographic slash market? It sounds like you're interested in literacy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm an educator also. I teach sixth grade, and the kids I work with, a lot of them have pets, but that's not how I got the idea. But by me writing children's books and working with children every day, it really pushed me to write more because I had no idea I was just going to write one book. That's all I thought I would be writing. But then it led to me writing a series. So literacy is so crucial and so imperative in today's society because we have a lot of kids that might be in the sixth grade, but they might be on third or fourth grade reading level, as far as Lexile scores. And so I thought, well, gee, writing Prince Patches, I can target my audience. And you might say, well, 4 years to 12 years of age, because you have some 12 years of age children that could be on fifth grade reading level, a 10-year-old. So I always have felt that literacy is crucial, and it helps to build their vocabulary. It helps to build a vocabulary because a lot of times when kids are reading, they're not comprehending what they read. And comprehension is very important in a young child's world. It's like, yeah, I can read, but are you comprehending what you read? You read this sentence. There's a word in here. I always felt that each sentence has a key word. And that if you know what the key word means, then it goes back to the sentence making sense. So reading is fundamental and it's important. And we don't want any children left behind because of the lack of literacy or the lack of reading. So, even if they just read the comments, read something that's important to you, even if it's a comic book, even if it's just a newspaper. If you don't want to read a book, but read something, in order to gain knowledge.
Yes, you made some very, very important points there. Yeah, me and my brother, we had encyclopedias in the house, and at some point we started reading comic books. And then when I got interested in basketball, I started reading about basketball all the time. But it is crucial to start early and to develop a love for it. I know I have my hands in a bunch of different pots, and I know that one theory is that these things have been ruining literacy. I don't know if you feel the same way, but another thing I think a lot of people don't know is one of my colleagues, a gentleman named Dr. Tiasan Johnson. He's pointed out that Black boys, particularly in this country, are struggling, and for years have been struggling with reading. And that's something I thought about when I was writing my book: is would the messaging actually get out to those who need it? So I think you made some very, very important points there, Mary. Appreciate that. Hey all, a brief advertisement here. I too am a self-published author, and my book is entitled The Engineers of Western New York Basketball Story Part 1, Innocent Basketball Dreams. If you've never heard of me or my book, I've created a background/overview page for it on my Big Words Authors Writers blog site. There you'll find a background description of Part 1 and the forthcoming Part 2. At the bottom of the page, there are video offerings, promotional essays, and notable interviews relating to the book. If you look at any of these materials, consider leaving a comment, liking them, and sharing them in your network and on your social media. You can purchase a signed hardcover or paperback copy of The Engineers of Western New York Basketball Story Part 1 at the Big Words Authors online store. Coupon codes are available upon inquiry, and the shipping and handling fees are built into the listed prices. The ebook, paperback, and hardcover editions are also available on Amazon. The links to these materials are below in the description box, along with the guest author's information. Thank you for your time and consideration, and now, back to the interview. So dog ownership, I didn't grow up with dog ownership, and giving some of my business away here. Through dating someone who was an avid dog owner and who owned several dogs. I got an up close and personal look at dog ownership, and I learned that it's a lifestyle and it's a culture. Your book, I think we talked about some of this a few minutes ago. Your book touched me as much of what I learned you described in the book involving the care of dogs, how they have their own personalities, and their tendencies and their impact on our lives as humans, because there appear to be some therapeutic benefits for humans. What did you see a particular need for young people to hear this message, the messages in the book? Did you think that was there a need for young people to learn about dog ownership? Because you do talk about what it's like to own a dog and take care of a dog.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You used the word therapeutic. Therapeutic. that helps sometimes with a child. Sometimes they feel this is all they have is their pet, and they can have such a love and such an outlet just by being close to their pet and hugging their pet and loving their pet. Um, so kids go through a lot. They come to school, and I can say this as being an educator. When they come to school, a lot of times, kids bring a lot of baggage to school. And I've had kids that, when I talk about patches, it's just all the kids just light up because they'll be like, I have a dog and I have a dog. And, then they want to share their stories. And I allow them to share their stories because it's important to them. It's significant, So when I see that, I don't deny children to share something. And, it gives them an outlet. And having a pet, and some of them have three dogs, and they share what type of dog it is and what they eat and how tall they are. It could be a big dog. They might say, well, I have a Rottweiler, I have a German Shepherd, I have a Labrador. They have all these different kind of dogs. I like, wow, those are big dogs. I like small dogs, but that's their choice. And they have some type of relationship. It's good to you can have a relationship with your pet, you're the owner and this is the pet, but you talk to your pet, you show them care, you show them that you love them. They know it. Patches knows I love him. He knows that I take care of him, and I can see it within his eyes that he knows. And sometimes I think maybe that's why they said, that's why people say a dog is a man's best friend.
Yeah. Well, going back to your original story about how you almost found a new family for him, they also attach to you, and they when they get sad when you leave, and then when you show up, they get excited, and they wait by the window, and then they run to the door, and that's something that amazed me in my experiences with people who owned dogs. And I mentioned I had a friend who had a couple. You do attach to them. You start talking to them, and they attach to you, and so it's a real thing. I think a lot of people look at it from the outside as, okay, you got to take them out to walk, and there's all this responsibility with them. And you touched upon that. That's something that parents, when they have children, that's something that has to get done. The dog has to go out to walk. The dog has to go out and run around. But they're also very therapeutic as well. And the whole support animal piece, that's a big thing, where dogs serve as support animals, official support animals for people, I guess, who are battling depression or some other hardship. So it's
absolutely, because I know someone. I know several people that have pets, a dog, because they have PTSD. That post traumatic stress syndrome. Post traumatic stress disorder, but and that's important. So they can be supported, and they know, like Patches, when I go out of town, and if I'm not taking him, I have a private sitter that takes care of him, and she's very good. And I've been so grateful that I met this private sitter. So when I'm away, she video how he's video take videos of him and send to me to let me know he's doing good and he's happy. So now when he goes to her, he's excited because he know that I'm coming back. So I get videos of how he's doing, and when he see me, oh my God, he just gets so excited. It's like she's here. I'm going home, you know. But I think the longest she's ever kept him was like maybe five days, and that was a bit long. I think that's when I came to DC to the Congressional Black Caucus um, event. So it's good if you can get someone, like if you have a pet, you want to have someone who you can trust. It's just like if you have a baby and you have to take the baby to the babysitter, you want to be able to trust that person. That's important because there's a lot of abuse out there, abuse of animals, cruelty to animals, cruelty to children. It goes both ways. So you want to have someone that you can truly trust, and that there's not going to be you know any serious issues or problems. So I've been blessed to have a trustworthy pet sitter. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there are two things there that you just mentioned. Yeah, you definitely. It's important to have someone who the dog feels comfortable with, and not everybody
Right.
is skilled at sitting and watching the dogs. So that's important. But you mentioned something else. I have a relative who's kind of I'm going to be discreet here, in decline, not as mobile, and this relative was thinking about getting a dog. I heard about it through another relative, but uh, some of us were kind of like, well, this person they're not getting around easily, and their house isn't necessarily conducive for dog ownership. So we were a little worried about the dog too. um, but I'm saying that to say that you also have to have concern for the dog as well, and how the dog is going to
Right.
live and thrive in a certain house, in a certain environment, because they do have to go out and walk, and they do need a level of comfort, in your home. So
Right.
there's like a balancing
Mhm.
act there for someone who needs the company, who might be elderly and alone, or alone for whatever reason. The dog also needs to
Right.
be comfortable there as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
One of the interesting features, we're almost at the end, Mary, about this. You for parents who have young children, Mary, you cleverly put vocabulary words in this book. I didn't notice this until I finished it myself, but you color coded the vocabulary words, and then at the end you tallied them all up. Was that a strategy you came up with yourself, or did you see someone else do that? It's a very brilliant strategy.
Yeah, it's a strategy I came up with myself, and that's why I say when God gives you something, He gives it to you. And I decided, I think it comes from being an educator, because a lot of times, like I say, vocabulary is it's important. And so when I wrote Prince Patches, I thought, just color code words and put a glossary in the back, because when if a parent is reading Prince Patches to their child and there's a word, just say the word safe. I don't know if I have safe in there, but just use a word. And they might not know what safe means. And then the sentence won't make sense if they don't know what the key word means. So then I decided, I'm gonna put a glossary in the back of my book. So mommy, daddy can go and look in the back of the book and say, okay, let's see what safe means. And when they tell them what it means, now you can go back into the content of the book and reread the sentence. And now they know the importance of safe, you know. Or even I think veterinarian. What is a mommy, daddy? What is a veterinarian? Well, let's go back and locate. It's highlighted red. Now let's go back into the glossary and read what a veterinarian is. You know, so that way it helps to build their vocabulary and not just read a sentence and not know what the word means. So that's why. And in mostly all my book signings I've done, and when a parent looks in the back of it, they're like, oh my God, look, she's got a glossary in the back. We've never seen this before. So that made me feel really, really good. Because when God puts something in your heart, you can't go wrong. There's no wrong about it. Because dictionaries, a dictionary has words, we define words from the dictionary. And then we have books. There are books out there, that might have a glossary, like textbooks at school have glossaries, you know. So, and kids they don't, a lot of times kids don't know how to research. So when you research, it's great to have a glossary in the back of the book. So that's how I write my books. And all of my books I've written thus far has glossaries in the back of them.
Oh,
Even
wow.
my Christmas book, my latest book. So now I just finished up a new book that's coming out, like, I guess, in January. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's really good that you do that. I was just thinking, I remember as a youngster trying to wrestle in my mind or understand the difference between a veteran and a veterinarian, so it's not obvious
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
youngster right away.
Mhm.
Okay, you just mentioned
Mhm.
it. Are there other books in the series? Have you written other books since this first Prince Patches book?
Oh yeah, I've written the second book is Prince Patches and Ella the Halo Butterfly. And then the next one after that one is Prince Patches Magical Christmas. And then the one I just finishing up is Prince Patches Climbs the Character Ladder. It talks about character education, the importance of character education, and how to climb the ladder to success. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
then and now I'm on another one. Yes, I'm writing a whole series. And the the Christmas book comes with the coloring book. Yeah. And I have a website. So it can be ordered, website.
Okay. We're going to get to that
Amazon.
after this
Okay.
question. All right. So in our talks at CBC, you shared some of your experiences as an author with me. You shared that you do a lot of live events, in-person events in the Atlanta metro area for young authors like myself. Can you talk about the importance of doing live events as a self-published author? And also, what are some of the keys to doing these events and getting yourself and your book out there?
Wow, that's a good question. I
In as much detail as you feel
mostly,
comfortable. Yeah.
oh no, I like live events. If I'm invited, and I am invited to a lot of different events, I can since I wrote my first book in 2022, when Prince Patches came out. I started writing it, I think, like in 2021. Um, but the first book came out in 2022. I believe. Um, I would like to say a lot of networking. When my first book came out, people was ordering it and just ordering. I was like, oh my God, it was a lot of excitement and a lot of stuff. A lot of my events is word of mouth. This person tell this person, that person, and then people that know people that have bookstores. Some of my books in bookstores locally here in Atlanta, and just being invited to different events. I was recently, since I came back from the Congressional Black Caucus event, I was invited to my hometown to this big festival they have every first weekend in October, sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce. So it was a live event, and it went very, very well. I got overwhelmed. So, but that was my hometown, and I'm thankful because my hometown, they support me. So I've had like 3 signings already that was sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce in my hometown, and some bookstores I go to and do book signings at the bookstore. Um, I Brown Girl, Brown Boy, Doc Lee. I'm sorry, can't think of her name. Anyway, Dr. Gurley, yeah, Dr. Gurley. She's out of DC, and she sometimes come to Atlanta and different places, and invite authors to come and and sit on panels and have book signings. So I always support her efforts and what she does. Uh, Her name is Dr. Pamela Gurley, and I really love her. And she was the one to introduce me to the Congressional Black Caucus, which I first attended in 2022 with Prince Patches, my first book.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I met you, uh, Mr. Dunbar, when I met you, I had 4 books because I had 3 books and I had the coloring book. Whereby when I first came to the Black Caucus event, I only had 1 book, and it was the one that you just held up. Yeah.
Okay.
So live events, I think live events, yes, yes. I only had that 1 book when I first attended the Congressional Black Caucus. But since then, I'm growing, and every day I'm growing, and I think I get more creative when I'm like relaxed, and ideas just come to me. And a lot of time I reach out. Um, my alma mater, the college I graduated from, they put me in the magazine, the college magazine, and all of that has been very supportive for me too. And it's just like reaching out. And once I reach out, a lot of time people reach back out to me, and I just do book signings wherever I'm invited. And I also recently did one I was invited to this Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority 35th anniversary celebration, and they asked me would I come and do a book signing, and I'm like, sure. It's just like word of mouth, and that's been my biggest support is people that know that I write books, and as a self-publisher, to just get out there and invite me to this place, and this leads it always leads to something else. And so I just been thankful about that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Mary, because I'm learning, there's so much more after you actually publish the book. There's networking, there's
Right.
events, there's
Yeah.
collaborating with other authors. There's so much
Oh,
more
absolutely.
once and you
Yeah.
have to be thinking about, okay, where am I going to go? Who am I going to
Mhm.
collaborate with? Who can I collaborate with? So there's a whole other piece
Mhm.
beyond just
Mhm.
getting the books printed. Yeah.
Right. Because, getting out there, like I tell people all the time, you you have to spend money. Sometimes you have to spend money, You spend money to make money. I invest in my books, because I know it's going to come back to me. And I'm doing it not just for myself. I'm doing it to help someone, to help the children, And you even have adults out there that, they're, they're not really where they're supposed to be in literacy. And if they're not where they're supposed to be, they cannot help their children. We have kids that graduate from high school and they just move them through. They can't read. You could be in 12th grade, but you're on 8th grade reading level. So they just moving them on. And it's sad, but it's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Mary, we are just about at the end. Where can people follow you and purchase your books?
Well, good people, you can my book is on Amazon. Um, it can be ordered from Barnes and Nobles online, Walmart. I have a website, www.lacue.com. It can be ordered from my website. Also on social media. I usually put, like, if I'm going to be attending an event or doing book signings, you can see it on social media. I'm on linked, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those. Well, basically the social media platform, but definitely check me out on lacue.com, which is my website. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to leave your website for those watching. I'm going to leave Mary's website below in the description box. So it'll be with this video, and you can go to her website and take a look at her books and her information there. And as she described, it's in other places as well. Okay, Mary, we are at the end. Um, Thank you for agreeing to come and talk about Prince Patches, and also thank you for being friendly at the Congressional Black Caucus authors
Yeah.
literary circle. It was my first time doing an event that size, and
Mhm.
it was a little scary, that first time. So it helps to talk to other authors. That was another lesson I learned there. Don't just sit on your little island. You have to talk to the other authors and support the other
Right.
authors. Yeah, that was very, very helpful for me. And uh, I look forward to potentially working with you in the future at some point again,
Me too.
as we loosely discussed at
Mhm.
the meeting. Do you have any other stories or thoughts or words for the audience?
Well, thanks for watching, and I appreciate, Anwar, I appreciate you inviting me. It means a lot to be able to speak to other people out there that are interested in writing, and I love to write. And I mean, you can pretty much write anything you want to write, And if you don't know how to start, just freestyle, just write. Just freestyle. And we all have different personalities. We all was created differently. And so whatever dreams you have, they can come. Dreams, I do believe that dreams can come true. So whatever you want to do, this is the time to do it, because we know life is short and time is of the essence. And don't, whatever you do, don't ever, 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 ever give up.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mary. Everybody, I'm going to wrap
Thank
this
you.
up. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Once again, Mary's link, the link to her website is going to be in the description box. And yes, please leave any comments or questions or thoughts that you may have relating to this discussion in the comments section below. And as I always say when I wrap these discussions up, or any discussion, as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.